Limerick, a city of stone, resistance, and broken promises. Behind these walls, two sieges would unfold, one of heroic defiance, the other of grim surrender. This is the story of the sieges of Limerick in 1690 and 1691, a final stand in a war that reshaped Ireland. The Williamite War was more than just a battle for the British crown. It was a war of religion, identity, and sovereignty. On one side stood the Jacobites, Jacob being the Latin word for James, Irish Catholics loyal to King James II, who was the last Catholic monarch of England, Scotland, and Ireland. Irish Catholics supported James because he promised religious freedom and the return of lands taken during previous conquests. On the other hand, the Williamites, Protestant forces supporting William of Orange, or King William III. When James was deposed in the Glorious Revolution of 1688, it set off a chain reaction. Irish Catholics saw a chance to reclaim lost power and land. Protestants, especially in Ulster, feared Catholic dominance. William, a devoted Dutch Protestant, married Mary II, daughter of James, and was invited by English Protestants to dethrone the Catholic king. And in 1690 he landed in Ireland and defeated James at the Battle of the Boyne. But James fled to France, leaving his supporters to face the consequences. All eyes turned west, to Limerick, the last great stronghold of the Jacobites. Limerick wasn't just a city, it was a symbol. If Limerick held, Irish hope lived on. If it fell, centuries of repression would follow. In August 1690, Williamite forces under King William III approached Limerick with confidence. They numbered over 25,000. The Jacobite garrison was outnumbered and undersupplied. Inside the city, an Irish cavalry, commanded by Patrick Sarsfield, emerged as a leader. A skilled horseman and a passionate nationalist, he refused to surrender. We do not yield, not to invaders, not to tyrants. If Limerick falls, let it be through fire, not surrender. In one of the most daring raids in Irish history, Sarsfield led a cavalry force out of the city under the cover of darkness. They rode deep into enemy territory and located William's siege train near Ballyneety. With precision, they destroyed the artillery, crippling the siege. Without his heavy guns, William had no way to breach the Limerick walls. After several failed assaults and heavy losses, he retreated. He thought Limerick would fall in a day. It did not fall at all. It was a psychological victory. Ireland still had hope, and Sarsfield had become a legend. But hope had a cost. 1 year later, in August 1691, the Williamites returned, this time under General Godert de Ginkle, a seasoned Dutch general who served in the wars against the French. Well equipped, determined, and backed by Parliament, eager to crush the Irish resistance. This time, the siege was relentless. The Jacobites were running out of food, gunpowder, and time. Ginkle's army began constructing massive siege works, lines of trenches and batteries, designed to inch ever closer to the city walls. The most brutal fighting occurred near Thomond Bridge, a key defensive point. As Jacobite lines collapsed, desperation turned into horror. Thousands of civilians and soldiers crowded into shattered churches and cellars, begging Sarsfield to surrender. The streets ran with sewage and the blood of the wounded. The dead lay unburied in the alleyways, their bodies bloated and rotting in the heat. Disease spread like wildfire. Typhus, dysentery, fever. Starvation drove the people to chew leather, grass, and even eat the rats. All the while, Ginkle's cannons pounded the walls day and night, sending stone and shrapnel into the homes and hospitals. Hope had turned to agony. Still, Sarsfield hesitated, seeking not to surrender, but a just peace. He knew that the war was lost, but he wanted peace on Irish terms. On October 3rd, 1691, Sarsfield met with Ginkle. The result, the Treaty of Limerick, a document promising fair treatment for Catholics, freedom of religion, and safe passage for soldiers choosing exile. On paper, it was generous, but it was a false dawn. Over 10,000 Jacobite soldiers, along with their families, chose exile to France. They became known as the Wild Geese, fighters who would serve in foreign armies for generations. Within months, the treaty was ignored. Irish Parliament, dominated by Protestant interests, refused to ratify its terms. And so, the Dark Age began for the Irish people. The penal laws stripped Catholics of land, education, political rights, even the ability to own a horse. worth more than £5. It was ethnic cleansing through legalisation. The treaty was meant to be a bridge. Instead, it became a tombstone. Limerick stood, and though its treaty was broken, its courage remains unshaken. It's not just the story of a siege, it's the story of people who dare to hope.